Hey, what's up, friends? You got Gypsy back here today with Season 3, Week 1 of the CFA. We're back. We had championships not that long ago, but we're back with Season 3. And for our first match, we're going up against the guy called Justin. I don't know too much about this guy, other than the fact that he's a really solid draft player, apparently. So I was definitely looking forward to having this match. And he also has a really powerful team. He's got Mega Gardevoir on his team. He's got a nice fat Hippodon, Blastoise, Crobat core, which is a pretty nice defensive core. He's got the Thunderous Eye, which is a big threat to any team, and he's got Stoutland to complement his sand offense. Not to mention Kyurem and Zoroark, which can play some big mind games. Zoroark and Kyurem obviously just being a really nice breaker and a nice fat wall in a lot of cases, depending on matchup. So yeah, quick overview of the team that I brought today. I'm bringing Berry Slowbro. Berry is a necessity versus his team, as a disguised Zoroark could really spell the end of Slowbro if I'm not prepared, or if I don't realize it's Zoroark, and if I take that chance and he knocks off or he spec Stark Pulses me, then Slowbro could potentially go down. And Slowbro puts a lot of work in versus his team. It's actually my check to his sand offense. Stoutland hits incredibly hard with Choice Band of Return and Wild Charge, things of that nature. So having like a healthy Slowbro just to get like a Scald off is pretty important, putting in a range of priority from the likes of Azumarill and Lucario. So next up we have my Mega Latias, a pretty standard Mega Latias set this week, rocking Ice Beam, T-Bolt, Roost, a pretty bulky set, able to easily tank hits from stuff like Stoutland, Thunderous Eye. It's a really good Thunderous Eye check. Although obviously like a boosting Life Orb Thunderous Eye is a problem, but I can still take a +2 Life Orb HPIs with relative ease and deal huge damage back with Ice Beam, again putting it in range of my priority. So it's a pretty solid mon versus his team. It's going to allow me to put things in range of my breakers, and potentially, well, hopefully, and yeah, potentially weaken his team whilst acting as a pretty nice switch into certain mons. Next up we have Jirachi, predominantly specially defensive, able to take on Gardevoir. His Mega Gardevoir is a really big threat because obviously my team isn't very defensive, it's quite offensive, and Guard breaks defense anyway. So Jirachi is a relatively safe switch in. Obviously modest Shadow Balls do a ton, but I can play around that with Protect, and I will just rely on, again, playing offensive this game. You guys can see he didn't actually bring Mega Gardevoir, so interesting choice on his part, but he's a solid player, so I'm not going to question it, and the team of 6 he brought is definitely threatening, so he may have relied on me over prepping for guard, and thus trying to take advantage of it with bringing stuff like Kyurem and Zoroark, so I can definitely respect that. Next up we've got Thundy, just a Scarf Thundy this week, acts as a decent revenger for stuff like his own Thunderous, which could, if it gets out of hand with Nasty Plot, could be a big problem for my team. If somehow my priority goes down and it gets up to like +4, for instance, somehow, even though I wouldn't let that happen, you never know. It's not worth being too careful. Not being careful enough, I should say, with a threat like Thunderous. So just having a Scarf Thundy there is pretty nice. I can also switch into T-Bolts and get faster T-Bolt off the next turn. I'm carrying Grass Knot for Hippodon, obviously. I'm carrying U-Turn for Momentum. Pretty standard Scarf Thundy. Nothing too much to talk about. Does revenge quite a deal on his team. If he's like a Specs Zoroark, I can Scout with U-Turn, breaking his disguise, popping a potential Sash perhaps, and getting the jump on his Specs Zoroark. Then we have Bandit Azu, just the beast itself. His team really doesn't have good answers to Azu. I mean, what's his player up switch in? It doesn't exist. Hippodon gets go by Waterfall with a little bit of Pride damage, so that's pretty nice as he's looking like a threat. And then we have my Lucario set, so a pretty nice, just the typical like offensive Life Orb set from this Lucario. Nothing too much to write home about. I actually had this match a couple of weeks ago, so I don't really remember the Lucario set that well, but from memory it was a physically offensive Life Orb variant. So let's jump into the match. I'm going to start with my Thundy. If he wants to lead with his Hippodon and set up Brox, I can kill him with Grass Knot. If he wants to lead with like Zoroark, for example, I get the jump on that with U-Turn. I can just kind of scout his lead and respond accordingly. So I'm going to lead off with my Thunderous. He leads off with his own Thunderous. Now, this made me think that like he could, for instance, be Zoroark. So perhaps like because he's disguising himself as Thunderous, and my own laddie's a pretty decent switch into Thunderous. He could be Zorok, and he may be trying to bait me to switch into my laddie to lose at turn 1. And then, you know, to a knockoff or something like that. So I'm just going to go for the U-turn here, just to scout. If he is Zorok, obviously I wouldn't switch in my laddie. If he is Thunderous, then laddie is my switch in. Because I am U-turning out in the first place, so I don't want any of my other mons to take a T-Bolt, so I'm just going to go for the U-turn. You see I do outspeed, and it is indeed his own Thunderous as I got to my laddie, and I know laddie here can easily tank anything from this Thunderous, even if it is like a physical variant. I can comfortably take a hit. You guys are going to see he goes for a U-turn, and he gets a crit. So off to a pretty rough start in our week 1 match. The crit, so it did 68%, so almost 70%, revealing that with a life orb, so it would have done around 50-ish, maybe a little bit less than that, more like, depending on like high 40s, you know, mid 50s maybe, depending on rolls. I didn't really calculate, but this is really unfortunate as it puts laddie in range to die to stuff like I put him in range to die to an HP Ice from a life orb variant of Thunderous. If for some reason his Zorok is a Scarf variant, then I will go down, like I won't be able to heal up on it because it can revenge me with Dark Bolts. That's actually going to be what happens here. So I'm just going to, he comes in with Stoutland, goes for the Dark Bolts here and takes me out. I clicked Roost there because if that was his Stoutland and he was like a banned variant, I could Roost up, scout the damage, switch out accordingly, switch to Jirachi if he was like that locked into return or something like that. But he is Scarf, Zorok, and that's very unfortunate. Had I not taken that U-turn damage that turn, the crit, and been at a higher amount of health, I wouldn't have stayed in with laddie. I would have switched out in case this was Zorok, knowing that I could comfortably switch in on stuff like Hippowdon and Roost up later, or even stuff like a Thundy and Roost up later, because after taking like 1 T-Bolt and Megaing up, I can live an HP Ice from that range because I'm so bulky and Roost up, but you know, it's it happens, so you know, nothing I can really do about the hack. So in comes the Zoomeril, and I know he's locked into Dark Bolts because he did outspeed my laddie, so I'm just going to click play rough as his likely switch in is going to be Blastoise. And you guys are going to see I'm running enough speed on my Zoomeril to outpace like a kind of slowish Blastoise. Blastoise is actually kind of fast, 78 base speed, so yeah, I'm definitely creeping like a slower Blastoise, and we do get the surprise kill. I don't think he didn't expect my Azu to outspeed his Blastoise the following turn, hence why he stayed in, so that was really nice to nab that kill on Azu. Fast Azu proving that it is like the best ban set out there because it does catch like a lot of faster defensive mons off guard. So in comes Stoutland. I'm just going to go out to my defensive pivot in Slowbro because I know that if he goes for Wild Charge, I can scout the damage, scout his set. You know, Wild Charge is his play here. Mega Laddie died earlier to the crit, so I don't have like a comfortable Wild Charge / return switch in the form of Laddie, so Slowbro is my best answer. Wild Charge says 50%. This confirms that he's most likely E-Belt, which is good to know. I'm gonna switch out. He's gonna switch out to his Kyurem on this turn, as I switch out to my Jirachi. The reason being the fact that I'd like stayed in, the fact that I'd taken a Wild Charge with Slowbro made me think that he might predict me to switch out to my Thundy, obviously being immune to the electric attack from his Stoutland. So Jirachi was my mid play in case he did switch out to Kyurem, because I can comfortably 1v1 this thing. Earth Powers won't be doing too much because I'm especially defensive. And if he did stay in, I add up the Wild Charge with this Jirachi because it's a really fat bulky spread, and I could proceed to Wish up even if he did have Crunch, and eventually 1v1 the Stoutland. So Jirachi was my mid-ground play there, and it does pay off as he goes into his Kyurem, as now I'm just going to set up my Stealth Rocks on his switch out to Hippowdon. So I'm going to maintain offensive momentum here by going for the U-turn and switching right into my Azu, my Slowbro, sorry. The reason I switch out into Slowbro, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. That's later on in the match. I switch out to Slowbro right here just to get a bit of regenerator health back, and in case you wanted to go for the EQ, as it is a really important member for my team, so I'd rather not switch it in on an EQ, rather pivot to it on a U-turn as he makes the switch out. So he doesn't really have an answer to Scald from here. I can just freely click Scald and potentially get a burn on whatever wants to come in. I haven't determined the Kyurem set, but judging by the way he switched it in on Slowbro. I'm assuming it's more than likely like a bulky spread. So he's just going to actually switch out to Kyurem right now, kind of confirming this. As you guys are going to see, Scald does very little. It only does 8%, so it is a bulky Kyurem, and we get the Skull burn, so yeah, making up for the crit earlier on in the laddie, I guess, like 30% versus like 8.25%, whatever, but like, we get the burn, which is nice. As now I'm going to switch out to Jirachi. The fact that he is, sorry, I'm going to Scald here. I Scalded because I did expect him to roost up, because he couldn't, like, attack me, like, I knew he was like a defensive set. He couldn't risk attacking me there, and being at such low health in case he needed to switch out the next turn on my potential switch out. Like, I could have easily switched out to Jirachi there, which is a fantastic Kyurem check. And I know that he's defensive, so like I know that he's not like invested in like too highly in special attack, so my Jirachi does take it on so well. So I did predict him to roost there, because like had he gone for a toxic the first turn, as I switch out to my Jirachi, he would just be at like, he would be so low at like 50%, and then he'd be forced to switch out the next turn and switch in later in on the match on Slowbro, and take another round of Stealth Rocks and Sand potentially, and then burn. So his play there was to roost, so I do capitalize on that and just go for the slack off of my own. Also, in case he did double, like, slack off was my play, because he may have doubled as well, predicting my Jirachi. I didn't expect him to toxic that turn. However, this turn I do fully expect him to toxic, so I am going to switch out to my Jirachi, as if ever was a time to toxic, it would be now for him. As I did show that I was comfortable staying in first with my Slowbro. I kind of lulled him into a false security. But Kyurem's just going to fire up the toxic there and miss, not that it mattered obviously, because I'm immune to it. And now he makes a switch out to hip out on a click U-turn on this turn, predicting a switch out, because he can't realistically beat my Jirachi 1v1 with his Kyurem. So yeah, switching out to his hip out on there, or even his Thunderous, was a pretty good play on his part. We capitalize on that with the U-turn, and I'm just going to go right onto my Inzumah, receiving the wish, which is very nice, meaning I can switch in comfortably later on in the match if I need to, even tanking a hit from Stoutland, as you guys are going to see later. Now I'm at a point where like Bandit Azu has no waterfall switch-ins. Everything on his team gets completely destroyed by waterfall. Kyurem, like, while it resists it, won't appreciate it too much after rocks, burn, and sand, and I could just as easily click play rough here, predicting his Kyurem. So I'm going to click waterfall, and this straight up OHKOs the power on 87, which is pretty impressive, as it's really strong. And Stoutland's going to come in here, and he's going to click wild charge. Now he did 85% with that. That was literally the max roll. That was the highest possible roll from E-Belt Stoutland. I actually asked him after this damage if he was E-Belt. I knew he was, but I just wanted to confirm with him. And yeah, he said he was. That was literally the max roll. So had I got like a mineral or a lower roll, I would have been able to preserve Azu. As you guys are going to see, like I survived the sand, but I can't switch out the next turn. So this does allow me to sort of scout his Zorok, see what he's going to lock himself into, but he just makes the good play and goes to the U-turn, not wanting to give anything on my team a potential setup. Had he gone for the Dark Pulse, Lucario could have set up and won. So he goes for the U-turn there and just makes a switch right out to his Kyurem. So I'm just going to go into my Lucario here and just click CC. He doesn't have a switch into close combat at this point, because Thunder gets destroyed by CC plus EQ plus rocks and sand. So Lucario was very safe here. I did have a feeling he was going to be Choppleberry, so I did factor Chopple into my calcs, and my Adamant Lucario definitely kills Choppleberry Kyurem at that range of health, because I am a Life Orb variant, so I'm packing that power. So in comes the Rock. I'm just going to switch out right here. There's no point losing my priority in case I need it, in case Thunder gets out of control that game. We know he's Life Orb, so I can, like, if for some reason he started setting up nasty plots, I can start sacking mons, getting the residual Life Orb damage up and eventually clean him with E-Speed Life Orb Lucario. So yeah, preserving Lucario was definitely important. I'm just going to go into my Rachi as he goes for the Flamethrower here, only dealing 36% with his Scarf Zorok, so very nice. I can now Wish up. I have shown Protect, Wish Protect, so Jirachi is, yeah, definitely able to 1v1 this Zorok if I need to. But I'm actually going to take this opportunity to eventually go out to my Slowbro. The reason being, I am U-turn, on this slow bro. I am sorry, Carmine on this on this slow bro set. I know if I set, I'm actually also Spidef as well. I'm especially defensive slow bro, which is why I took so much from the Stoutland's Wild Charge. But I know if I can set up some Carmines, I can comfortably take on the Thunderous, and because I am Colberberry, I don't fear his Zorok coming in later on in the match and killing my Slowbro, and even if he does crit me, I've got E-Speed in the back on the carrier, so we're looking solid here. He's going to go for the Flamethrower and burn me, so nice 10% burn, and Slowbro can just start Carmining up here. It's in his best interest to sack off Zorok, I guess, because he doesn't want Thunderous to come in and take a Scald. I suppose, which is why, but you know, I click Psychic just in case he did want to switch out, capitalizing on me trying to get greedy and set up, but he makes the good play, just stays in here and Flamethrower. So yeah, Justin proving why he's definitely a competent player, not getting greedy, and I'm just going to Carmine up once more. The reason I did go for Psychic was, like, he could have predicted me to slack off after that turn, heal up, and he may wanted to capitalize on that by going out to Thundy, but even so, like, I was a +1, and Slowbro with my Spidef, I can tank. You guys are going to see how much a Tickball does, so I'll just show you now anyway. But yeah, my Slowbro is really specially defensive, so that does 46%, so Slowbro tanking the hit and taking Thundy out. So nice 4-0 win for our week 1 match up against a really solid player. I would love to face Justin again later on in the season, perhaps in playoffs, who knows. But yeah, definitely a fun first match. Hope you guys enjoyed. We bring you guys week 2 soon enough. We're actually up to week 4 right now, so you know, we're cranking them out, and I've just had a lot of stuff on lately, so that's why there has been a bit of a delay with it. But I will be aiming to, you know, get them up on my channel pretty soon, as soon as I can. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and let me know what you guys thought of the team and the battle in the comments below. And if you guys aren't already subscribed to my channel and you would like to see more draft content, feel free to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you once again for watching.